Today on Beardo and Weirdo, we're being joined by Riki Rachtman, who is on tour. He's going to be hitting Harrison, Ohio, West Dundee, Illinois, Milwaukee, and Mohammed, Illinois. He's talking STDs, Axl Rose, how Slash has changed, and Chris quits the show.
He always takes my taglines every time. That's why I'm out of here. No more. I'm Dunskies. Clip it.
We're going viral today with Riki Rachtman.
Did we get some likes? Ladies and gentlemen, the people have spoken. Beardo and Weirdo is now available on Patreon.
Check out our Patreon page where you'll be able to see all of our episodes first before they're released anywhere else. You can also see unedited interviews, and sometimes we have bonus interviews that the conversation goes beyond when we stop rolling, and also interviews with people who you've never seen on the show, like my personal favorite, Joey Bro from Instagram. If you know, you know.
And lots of dick pics.
Yep.
Not mine, Craig's.
That's right. One look and you know that guy's Jewish.
Just one look. That's all it took to unsubscribe.
All right, man. Yep. We are back. Craig Gass here. I picked up some jewelry while I was in San Francisco at the 49er Stadium. My team, I am the LVP. I'm the least valuable player of the team, but I got a ring. And my Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl. And
you got to go to the Super Bowl.
I got to go to the Super Bowl, but we got to get right into it because we're both so excited about this conversation. Man.
Absolutely.
It's Craig Gass here. I am the Weirdo. That's Chris Kael, the Beardo, my life partner. And we are being joined by a man who we both love. We both consider him to be a good friend, but it's the first time we get a chance to finally ask him questions and talk to him about stuff that would just be inappropriate at a dinner conversation. So we finally get to
with us.
With us,
I don't know that there's anything inappropriate at us. That's a big like field goal to kick through on there.
Well, I feel like the way I've maintained my friendships with people who I respect and admire has been to not bring anything up about them. That's what I've learned is
I need to learn that.
Talk about comedy, talk about our love of music, whatever, but don't get into the things that I love about them.
Okay, I got
so that it doesn't make it weird.
Okay. Yeah, you are very
I am
overbearing when it comes to love.
I scare people.
Have you ever stolen Ricky's water from his dressing room?
We're being joined by Riki Rachtman, one of our favorite people on planet Earth. And I started thinking about there must be more alcohol that was consumed during Headbangers Ball than any other television show in the history of television, because it was a rite of passage to get together with your friends, watch this show. It's a late night show. It's Saturday night. Drink some beers and watch what Ricky's got tonight.
Absolutely.
And so, Riki, it's going to get weird, but how are you, man? You're on the road. And Riki is promoting some shows that are happening right now. We have shows coming up from the time this episode is released. He's got 5-6 dates right in front of you. And all the dates are at which website, Riki?
Cathouse Hollywood. See, I was going to say it. CatHouseHollywood.com. I went on there today checking out those dates.
I almost wore my obituary shirt. I'm like, thank God I didn't wear it. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah, I would have taken mine off and just gone shirtless.
Cheap trick to obituary. So. I mean, we all do. So.
Yeah, we're getting all the audiences out there.
Yeah.
Riki started doing this one-man show that I loved. Anyone who heard about it that was a fan was like, oh my God, that'll be so cool.
Yep.
But what was really cool is the DIY aspect of what Riki was doing and the fun that Riki was clearly having.
Yeah. And one thing I was jealous of in watching Riki's show, the man's got so much footage.
Yes.
Of everything. Like he is doing the show that I would love to do, but I don't take any time to film anything.
Well, how much of a chore was it to go back and get all this footage, Riki?
Some of it was tough because I've got so much video footage and and first of all, I just want to say both of you guys are on my very short list of friends. I love both of you so much. You're such good people. Both of you, me and Kael God, I don't know how long ago we went on a real long motorcycle ride.
Oh, yeah.
And Craig, I turned to you for advice whenever I did my show. You know, I asked you and you were so kind because, you know, this is new to me. I always thought like stand-up comedy would be the hardest job in the world. So I don't really look at myself ever as a stand-up comic. And I didn't know how this show would go. I mean, I literally just got off stage like an hour ago.
Oh, yeah.
I think that the two things, the thing that both of you would admit is like, or I can tell you personally, I love this so much.
Yeah.
There's nothing I love more than doing my show. I really wish I could make money at it because it is so much fun. And that wasn't your question at all. What was your question?
Well,
This is what I love about Riki too. His childlike enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime he talks to the guy, he is super excited about everything that he's doing, whether it's 1 foot in the gutter. I went to a NASCAR race with the man back in Las Vegas. And if I thought 5 Finger Death Punch was a big deal, Riki Rachtman at a NASCAR track.
Oh, yeah.
My God.
Yeah. Well, the question was because when you go see the show, there's some stories that Riki would start and I'd go, oh, I know what this is. I know where we're going. Like, you know, and in fact, Riki suffered from a thing that I noticed that Dave Chappelle suffered from when Dave Chappelle started to get famous, which is Riki would start to get into something and people would just start shouting shit out. And Riki had the patience to be like, yeah, man, like he wouldn't go, hey, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Let me get to my story. And did you have moments at any point where you would snap on people? Because people were stepping on your stories.
Yes.
Okay.
The thing with some of these stories, people have heard like bits and pieces of them, but they don't know what really happened.
Yeah.
Like I don't talk about these great rock and roll stories that like a journalist. I talk about stories that happened at the Cathouse or things that involved me. So I tell the truth. And the truth is, I get pissed when people yell out stuff. But the thing is like, dude, I will tear you to shreds. Like I don't do that. And I did it to the point in St. Charles. I don't know if he tried, but the guy left.
Really?
Yeah, this isn't that type of show, you know, but people like to yell out stupid stuff. And, you know, I'm trying to be that kill him with kindness guy, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys know, this is the thing that I really learned tonight. I've been very lucky at these shows. I get good crowds. The show's long, but sometimes there'll be that one person at a show that's just like this. And I keep staring at him. I'm looking at him I'm like, Riki, don't, because you'll be doing this and people be laughing. Then you're like, and then you're staring right at the guy that's doing this again. And I'm just focused like right on. I'm like, dude, there's nothing I can say.
Yeah.
You know?
As a stand-up, there's moments during a show where I'll notice somebody in the crowd who looks like he's not having fun at all. And I just kind of go, oh man, is this guy crazy? Is he going to kill me? And then I kind of start to pay attention. And then all I need is just to notice a giggle. And I'll go, okay, he's just an asshole. So he's just, there's something wrong with his personality, but he's not here to kill me. Yeah. But there'll be, sometimes there'll be a vibe that I'll see in the audience and I'll go, what is that guy's deal? Like he doesn't seem to be enjoying himself.
See, and I have a different perspective. When I see that one person in the crowd not enjoying my stuff, I'm like, he don't deserve me. Yeah, he don't deserve all this.
Which
story.
is actually the right attitude.
Yeah.
That's the right attitude to take, Chris.
Yeah, I focus on everybody else having a good time out there. And yeah, I know my stuff is good. I know I got good stories, much like you, Riki, with all your stories. My God, so much I learned about you when I was watching 1 Foot in the Gutter when you were here in Los.
Same. And I want to start to get into that. So I had the question about, you have all this incredible footage. Most of it, honestly, I was familiar with because I watched everything on Headbangers Ball, and I was even familiar with some of the stories from your personal life, like the fight at the radio station. I remember like hearing about that and going, man, that is hilarious that Riki got.
Yeah, that was news to me on that one.
Oh, you didn't know about that?
It wasn't that funny. That thing cost me so much money. But the thing is, it's like, look, I didn't grow up expecting to be on TV or the radio. I grew up this punk kid in Hollywood with all the scrappiness and stuff like that. And people don't know that. Yeah. And then when somebody just pushed my buttons and I have these demons in my head and I just lashed out. Yep. And I got in so much trouble and it cost me. I mean, I was unemployed for several years.
Because he also worked at the radio station.
Yeah, I remember.
Same radio station.
I beat up a guy that worked at my radio station.
Yeah.
Well, all right, let's go back to the beginning.
I mean, so being in this podcast, I know exactly how you feel about wanting to beat up somebody in your station.
Well, here's the difference, okay? Like if somebody
he's talking about my driving right now.
if somebody said something to me, and I'm like, really, really? They're like, yeah. If somebody says that to Chris, they'll be like, dude, it's cool. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm the most least intimidating person there is.
That's hilarious. Yeah, the show, you really go deep, and I just, what's really funny? There was a story. I made notes about when I saw you, and I was like, I didn't know this. You actually mentioned the girl's name, Linda. Linda is an important name to you because Linda is the first name. And I was like, I can't believe he's telling the story. He goes, Linda was the first girl I lost my virginity to. And I'm like, wow. And then he follows it up with also the first one that
broke a car antenna off my car and hit me in the back. And then the first girl that ever broke a champagne bottle over my head.
What the fuck? Where do you meet a first girlfriend like that?
It's followed me forever until now. I've had a string of just bad luck. I don't know how I lucked out with the relationship with my marriage.
Right.
Because I just, as my mom once said, she goes, Ricky, you just make bad choices. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I've made some bad choices, but it's funny. Like I did the show tonight. I just got off stage and I did the show tonight. And I'm telling that story. I go, look, I don't want to call her out. I'm just going to call her Psycho. But her real name, Linda.
See, I too have that same thing where for a while I kept on asking myself, why is every girl that I date crazy?
Right.
But then I had to go, hold on. What about me attracts that crazy?
Yeah.
I just had that big revelation like the last couple of weeks. So yeah, that's going to be in my upcoming bits out on the road coming up soon.
The idea of attracting crazy and making bad decisions is very, very relatable. But there's a part at the beginning of the story where I'm not even sure where we're going with the story that Ricky starts to talk about. I think it was the girl was into disco. And then, so he started going to a disco. And then somewhere along the way, there's a DJ gig. Ricky starts becoming a DJ. Yep.
I remember all those records.
And a drug dealer.
And a drug dealer. Okay, you said this very fast when I saw you, but I want to make sure I understand this. You actually would sell copies of your DJing gig with bindles of cocaine?
Absolutely.
Gotta get your music out there, man.
When you're a club DJ, and the people would go and they you'd have your tape recorder, you'd play and record and tape your whole DJ set.
Right.
But then what I would do is I would put it. This is probably not the right thing. This is probably not going to help jobs for me. Yeah. But anyway, what I would do is I would take a gram of cocaine and I would put it. And look how nonchalantly I say it. I took a gram of cocaine and I would put it in the cassette. So somebody would go up and they'd say, "Dude, I want to buy one of your cassettes from your set." And I'm
wink,
like,
wink.
Sure. And it was $125, and you buy a gram of coke in my cassette.
See, kids, see how much you're missing out on all these MP3s and streaming. You can't stream cocaine, kids.
No, they can't. They can't. That's a side hustle you can't have any days. It's like, can I get in there? Like, what's a cassette?
Were you a good drug dealer? Because there's that old line.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Because what's the first rule about being a drug dealer?
Don't get high on your own supply.
Broke the first rule.
Yeah.
Basically, and I it wasn't like I was selling drugs for a long time. I was just selling enough to get me more drugs, So.
Well, there's, and that's relatable too. And we'll get into drugs because that's something that bonds me and Chris is our recovery. But the DJing gigs start to happen. You're dealing drugs. And Ricky seems to fall in love with music around the same era that I did. And I think you did as well.
Yep.
Because one day he hears that Heather Locklear has just walked in the door of the club that he's DJing at.
You're going to spoil my, what? Let me write down some of your jokes so I can start telling all the content.
I was thinking the same thing. See, I will beat him up for you, Ricky. Yeah. It's like he took notes on your show. It was like, look, first act is this.
One show. It's got 2.5 hours. I don't have anything else written. So it's like, okay, well, there's one more bit. It's like, I know. Quick gas. That.
Mr. I've been doing comedy for 25 years over here.
Well, dude, I mean, this is all right. So we'll skip. We'll there's just a couple I got to ask you about. I had no idea about this story. Mm-hmm. This blew my mind that this is like Mötley Crüe is exploding at the time. And Heather Locklear walks into this spot that he's DJing at, and everyone's freaking out about Heather Locklear. But of course, Ricky is like, is Tommy with her? And Tommy was. And he hits it off with Tommy and Heather. They hang out with him in the DJ booth. And then Tommy says, dude, you should play our wedding. You should be the DJ at our wedding. And he gets that gig that we all saw in People magazine and, whatever celebrity rags at the time.
Yep.
And I had no idea that he was there at that wedding. And
and that was a gig. That was a gig. I mean, before there ever was a Faster Pussycat or Guns N' Roses, it was like Mötley Crüe. It was probably just after Theater of Pain.
Yes.
So I was just, it's like, look, I've been in some horrible situations, but I've also been in some really crazy situations that, somebody said, well, you're kind of like Forrest Gump, but then I didn't realize it was because of the learning disability. But it was sort of like, there's certain things that have happened in my life that it's just like, how did I get just random things? And I'm like, how am I here for all these things? I'm so lucky.
The universe has shined brightly upon you, sir.
Yes.
Do you realize at that time, obviously it's like, wow, this is cool, man. My friends are cool. My friends because you got multiple friends that are getting into the music scene at that time, and they're all finding success. But is it something that you look back on and go, holy shit, I didn't realize how big of a thing I was a part of back then? Or did you know at the time, like, man, everybody wants to be in this town and at these clubs?
Started to realize this. And the problem is, I was part of a very magical time. But you got to understand, going to these clubs a couple days a week and seeing all these bands all the time, this was just what our life was. So we didn't realize what was happening was such an incredible time. Yes, my friends were all becoming the biggest rock stars in the world, but that's what we always knew. And it's kind of a shame that I didn't step back and go, holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
Like Axl just sold out a club that fit 800 people, Yeah. I mean, it's so amazing. But I was the guy out of everybody in our scene that wasn't in the band. I had the greatest rock and roll club in the world. So everybody come, hey, you're Riki Rachtman, right? I'm like, yeah. They go, is Axl Rose here? Or is Tammy here? Or is Nikki here? Or is anybody? And then they keep on going down the line. It's like, okay, you'll do.
Yeah. But you weren't aware of it back then, but I love that you're aware of how special that was now and taking that out with the stories with the One Foot in the Gutter show.
I mean, here's the thing that was kind of weird. And because of all our little mental issues, and this is something that I really realized from doing my One Foot in the Gutter show, that if you think about this for a second, Riki Rachtman, probably had the one greatest job in the whole wide world.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you think about it, it kind of was. It's like, I'm just a rock fan. It's like, okay, Riki, we need you to go to Japan with Ozzy. And can you go next month to go to Brazil with Metallica? And I'm like, yep. And I'm like, holy crap. Like that. I mean, kind of, it was the greatest job in the world.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I didn't realize it then. And that's what's such a shame.
And there's also, I've noticed in all my years of being around music artists, is there's always camps of, we don't want to hang out with that artist because they're, we don't or we feel they're too close to us. So we don't want to be friends with them. But doing what you did was what everybody wanted to be on your side of the street, and everybody wanted to hang out with you. You had the opportunity to be able to travel with all these different artists and have these unique experiences and probably hear them talking shit about each other.
It was weird. Like for a while, it was really weird when we had a Mötley Crüe Guns N' Roses rivalry,
right?
Because even though the one thing I don't ever talk about in the show was my friendship with Nikki Sixx, because I never talk about that stuff because I just don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really weird when the Vince thing happened with Vince versus Axl, because obviously, like, I was part of the Guns N' Roses camp, and so if anybody was anti Guns N' Roses, they didn't come in my club. So some of those rivalries were just kind of weird for me to be on both sides. Like here I am, the guy that also likes Faster Pussycat, but also likes the Cro-Mags, and it's,
right.
Can't have both. Now I think things have changed a lot.
Yeah.
But especially when there were like feuds, because we had some feuds in the 80s.
Yeah. And
which side are you on?
And that one was a well-documented one at the time, which I believe started in the Cathouse with Izzy Stradlin and Vince's girlfriend at the time, Charisse. And then it leads to at the MTV Video Music Awards.
That's the part that I remember.
Shortly afterwards, Vince walks up like, fuck you, man. And then tries to sucker punch Izzy. And then leads to Axl Rose on MTV saying, hey, man. And this all goes back to the Cathouse.
Yeah.
This is all great promotion for the Cathouse. Axl Rose on TV saying, I'd kick his ass. And then Vince Neil actually putting out a video message saying, I challenge you to a fight.
Yeah. So our biggest question is...
Wait, hold on. And then Axl...
Then after the whole news thing, and I swear to you, this happened, Axl goes, yeah, I'm going to see if I can rent a private island where we can fight to the death.
Hell, because I was going to ask, did you think about putting that fight on at the Cathouse? You could also have been not only a club promoter, but a fight promoter as well. Pre-UFC, Riki Rachtman.
I mean, Axl wanted to do it with swords or something. He wanted to fight to the death. Like this was very legit. I mean, people don't understand what Axl Rose was like back in the day. Seriously, you did not fuck with Axl Rose. I've seen that guy get in so many fights, and thank God I was always like his friend, but he was fucking a badass back in the day.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's isn't it crazy to, because you don't talk to Axl, you talk to the other guys. I
talked to Slash probably a week ago. If you talk about in rock and roll, people that have changed the most in all of rock and roll, I can't think of anybody that's changed more than Slash and Duff. I mean, these are both very intelligent people, beautiful people, and I love Slash, and he's just a great person. And he's not, even though I was great friends with him back in the day, he's not the same person he was. Yeah. I mean, he would be leaning up against the wall, barely could open his eyes, like so drunk, but you'd put a guitar in his hand, and it was just like always on. It was amazing.
That's one thing I always wondered about Guns N' Roses is they recorded, they wrote Appetite for Destruction at the age they were, early 20s, and on heroin, drinking, doing drugs. It's like, how does that masterpiece come out of that? It's incredible.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, everybody, used to say, like, I've heard people say, like, oh, the first time I saw Guns N' Roses, I knew they were going to be big. Well, I didn't, because I thought that Appetite was so good that stuff that good doesn't sell 10 million records.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
More safe. And to get me, and it's so easy. It's like, those are such great songs, but they'll never be on an album that'll sell millions of records. I think they were phenomenal. I still do.
Yeah.
But it surprised me that they sold as many records as they did. Not that they didn't deserve it. They obviously did.
I remember seeing them, I think it was a few days after Appetite came out. They performed at the Tucson Gardens in Tucson, Arizona, and they were coming off of a Cult tour. I don't know if it was a day off in the middle.
Yes, they were opening up for the Cult.
They were opening for the Cult, and they came in and they did a show for like a couple hundred people. And I remember at that time just thinking, this is the most unique thing I've ever seen. And I just kept asking myself, how do they know each other? Like it seems like they're coming from 5 different bands. How did these 5 guys end up in the same room? Did you ever get that?
To me, that's what I want in rock and roll. I like to look at rock and roll and I like to see that this guy is this and this guy is this. And these are all different, unique characters. And that's what I really like about Guns N' Roses, because they all were so, Steven Adler was just this boppity guy. Yeah. And Izzy was just like total Keith Richards. And it was just dynamic. It was amazing. And to see them back in the day, like, I'll give you an example. One of my first times ever seeing Guns N' Roses, we had this thing called the LA street scene. And the LA street scene was these huge festivals in downtown LA that was free, and it was nuts. And so Guns N' Roses were playing, and everything got pushed back a couple hours. So everybody started to show up to see Social Distortion. And at the time that Social Distortion was supposed to go on, Guns N' Roses were on. And these punks did not want to see Guns N' Roses. They wanted to see Social D. But Guns N' Roses, so in everybody's face. And he walked on stage with assless chaps. But he won the crowd over. I mean, they were just so like, they were like, grab you by the... And I like that in my rock and roll.
Absolutely.
I agree. And was that Slash had a thing? Did you say that Slash had a thing about he liked to throw himself down the stairs at the Cathouse? Was that?
No, he said that in his book.
He said that in his book that he liked to throw himself.
Says, what I used to do for fun is throw myself down the stairs in the Cathouse. And he did.
So what kind of insurance policy did you have there at the Cathouse, Riki?
I had nothing. When we had the original location of the Cathouse, seriously, it was this dilapidated building, and you would walk up and your legs would go through the stairs. It was, and there'd be like a whole, like stuff peeling off the walls. So I would just take a staple gun, because I was like so high then, and just staple like posters over the things on the wall falling down. It was seriously like, you could get tetanus there.
Amongst other things.
Diseases aplenty. There were diseases aplenty at the Cathouse.
Yeah.
That's what I say. And that's what I'm going to say. Now, when I see somebody wearing a Cathouse shirt, I'm going to say, oh, nice Cathouse shirt. Name 3 STDs.
See, now that I'm hearing these stories about all the STDs at the Cathouse, as a kid growing up in Kentucky, I used to watch Headbangers Ball, and I would see the Cathouse shirts. I see the Faster Pussycat videos. I was like, oh, someday I'm going to go out to LA and I'm going to go to the Cathouse. And thank God today I am disease free.
Yeah. Man, there was just something, there was some magical bat signal that Riki was putting out.
Yeah.
But you know what it was? Here's what it was. To this day, I don't look at myself as ever being a club promoter. And what happened organically, they had other clubs where it's like, hey, it's hot chick night and girls get in free. Right. And hey, it's this, it's that. I didn't do that. I just let it happen organically. So because all these rock stars showed up, then all these beautiful girls showed up. And because these beautiful girls were there, then these rock stars showed up. And it just kept on going. And I couldn't have possibly set out to create a club that had so much beautiful women. But one of the things that was really easy was I had a roommate that slept with most of them.
Is that what?
So Tammy, the women loved Tammy. So Tammy was really good at just getting beautiful women at the club.
Still is.
Yeah, girls love Tammy.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, that guy, man. Yeah, and that friendship that you guys have had, I really love that you guys have maintained that friendship.
Yeah, there was a couple years that we weren't friends. And a lot of things changed, obviously. And I would be surprised if a whole week goes by that I don't talk to Tammy.
Yeah.
And like, you guys both know him,
Yeah.
He's just a freaking, and he's gone through some shit.
Absolutely.
Yes.
He's come out okay. And I'm so proud of him, and I just love him, and it's nice that there's certain people, like when I went to LA, I got to hang out with Jay Bentley, who's in the band Bad Religion. I had been friends with Jay since I was like 10 years before I ever met Tammy, since we were kids.
Yeah.
So it's neat that some of these people I've got relationships with that I've had for so very long. And that's kind of neat, Yeah. I mean, it's hard to believe that me and Slash have known each other for 4 decades,
So you went out to LA at a young age. Around that time,
I grew up out there.
Were you ever able to go to any of the Van Halen backyard parties?
No, in Glendale.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. But the one thing I did go to is there was this place that was like, it's where we would all ride our motorcycles, and it was called like Sagebrush. And one time somebody said like, hey, David Lee Roth is going to do something without Van Halen. And I showed up, and all he sang was covers, but it was like R&B covers and all these crazy words. And it was so awesome. And it was just like weird dance songs that David Lee Roth was singing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but everybody used to talk because that was the area that I grew up in. And I always used to hear that in Glendale, they would set up, stages on milk crates and Van Halen would play.
Yeah.
But I never got to see any of those.
You were in Van Nuys. That's where you grew up, was Van Nuys, right?
Yeah, but then I moved to Hollywood. I like to say that I lived in Hollywood more than I lived in Van Nuys.
As a representative of all that sleaze rock.
I grew up in Van Nuys.
There we go.
Was there anyone from that era? Because I always like to ask this of comedians who come out of a really big comedy scene. Was there anyone in that era that you thought, I don't understand how that band didn't become bigger? That band should have been massive. That you just thought.
There's a lot of bands. There's a lot of bands that I think that from the Cathouse era, that even not from the Cathouse era, that I don't understand why they got big bands, but there's bands all over the world that I don't understand why they never got big, you know?
True.
You know, Quiet Riot went to my high school.
Really?
You know? Quiet Riot went to my high school. Stan Lee from the Dickies went to my high school. Guys in Toto went to my high school.
Whoa.
And if they have a list of all the famous people that went to my high school, Riki Rachtman's name still isn't on the list.
What?
Yeah. Really?
He's the Rodney Dangerfield of heavy metal.
Well, he just said
respect.
He said he didn't graduate. You didn't graduate from there? Is that why?
I thought I did, but I guess I didn't. So I didn't graduate.
Actually, that brings up a good point. I was just listening to your appearance on the 100 Metal Songs with Brian Slagle, and you said that that you have a memory problem. Did you ever have to, like, with these stories, you think you had the right story, and then someone was like, no, that's not how that went. This is how it went.
What does happen is occasionally I'll tell a story that's a really good story that's all true, but then somebody will say, you know, I was there, and then start elaborating on it. Like, for instance, I did not know that big Kurt Cobain episode on Headbangers Ball, that the other guest there was Sepultura. And so Max, and I was there. I remember that stuff happening. This and that happened. And there's a lot of crazy stories like David Bowie at the Cathouse with the Axl chasing him. I didn't know that David Bowie went into the DJ booth and was hiding in the DJ booth from Axl.
Right.
Like people, like some of these stories are crazy because I do have a bad memory problem, but it's more like things that are happening in these last like 15 years. Like if I watch a TV show the next day, I don't remember what it was that I watched. No, I
exact same. Yeah.
Same here. I find myself going, who was it that was in that thing that what was the, like, and it'll be like a week ago, and I have to be told who that person was in that one movie that I saw. So.
Imagine how bad kids have it right now. Because back when we were growing up, we didn't have a TV in our room. We didn't have a cell phone. What we had was a turntable with Kiss Alive 2, opening up that big record, looking at the album the whole time. We were so focused on all that music. I feel like the kids don't have that today because there's so many other distractions. So tell us about you growing up and listening to music and how that got you going.
It's funny that you say that because one of the things that I think is really lost in these generations is albums.
Yeah.
You know, it's one song and everybody knows the one song, and how many albums are out there that your favorite song on that album isn't the hit. So people will know the one song that they're fed from that album instead of spending the time to listen to the whole album. And I think that's really shame. And I even describe it in my show, I do a segment in my show where it's like sort of like my bedroom, and I'm listening to music, and I got my record player, and I talk about the correct way to listen to vinyl. And just like what you said is, when you used to get a vinyl record, you would go home, you would sit on the floor cross-legged, you put it on track 1, and you would just sit there and listen, and you'd read the album cover. And that's the way that you really digest music, and you'd learn stuff. And like, when I was a kid, if you asked anybody, maybe this is older than you, but I think you might know this. When you ask somebody like my age, you said, hey, where is Montreux? And you go, on the Lake Geneva shoreline. Like, we knew all everything.
Smoke on the water.
We learned from listening to these songs.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. When
Girls, Mötley Crüe. I know all the strip clubs in the cities they're in because of that. So thank you, Vince. Appreciate that.
There's also an aesthetic that I've heard people that are older than me describe, because I got in MTV generation. That's my era. But people that were older than me saying, we didn't even know what they looked like outside of that album photo. So when you would go see them live, that's the first time you see them aside from that album photo. Like, wow, there's the guys from that picture playing the music right now.
Right.
And that is a surreal experience to me, that description, because I, like Riki, got into music right when MTV hit. So,
But you know what else is like that? Is when you listen to, if you used to listen to a female DJ, and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what you look like.
Never.
There were these women, you'd hear them on the radio, and you're like, oh my God, I can only imagine what she looks like. And you're like, yeah, you've got the face for radio.
Oh, there were dudes that had deep voices that looked like, you go, man, that's a face for radio.
Yeah. Jim Florentine's one of the only people that's got like the good face and the great voice too.
Right.
Right. He's a good looking guy, and he sounds like Yeah, that's true.
Which, by the way, when you talk about comedians, I was very flattered when Riki first started doing this one-man show, which is incredible. I'm telling you, you've got to go see this show. If you are a fan of Riki's, if you grew up in that generation and you know what we're talking about and you're familiar with these stories, Riki has 6 cities. What are the cities that are coming up that you're hitting? And you're hitting them all right now. They're like, if you hear about the city and this episode just came out, he's literally coming to these towns right now.
West Dundee, Mahomet, Wyandotte, Cleveland,
Green Bay.
You
go to cathousehollywood.com.
Cathousehollywood.com.
Yep.
Yes.
And then at the end of this episode, we'll read all the dates in order.
Yeah,
that I don't.
I'm thinking about coming out to that Green
right
Bay
now.
show. Actually, I might come out there because I might be coming out to that Green Bay show. Actually,
the Green Bay show isn't a one foot in the gutter show. That's something weird.
Really,
pretty cool. The Green Bay show is they're going to do a screening of the movie The Metal Years.
Oh,
and me and Stevie Rochelle are going to talk about the movie, so it's not a one foot in the gutter thing at all. I wish it was. That's still going to be fun just to watch the Metal Years with a bunch of people.
For sure.
The Metal Years encapsulated the mentality at the time.
Yeah.
Even I had this mentality, even though I never even picked up a fucking instrument, which is, I'm going to make it. If I doubt it for even a second, it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what happens if you don't? But I'm going to. But what if you don't? It's what Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons said. It's what Nikki Sixx and Tommy Lee said. They all repeated this mantra. You're going to make it. If you believe in yourself, you're going to make it. And there are so many artists in that movie who you just wonder, and there's just random guys that are they appear to be club guys and girls that are like, yeah, we're going to make it. I'm going to be huge someday. And you wonder what happened to all these dudes.
I would love to see Where Are They Now?
Yes.
The Metal Years. That would be incredible.
Well, there's only one guy in that movie that wasn't in a band that actually did something, and it was me.
That's right.
I mean, none of the other guys, other than the guys in like Poison or Lemmy or Kiss, but the other guys that said, yeah, like I never said I'm going to make it, and I'm still working out there. But one of the guys, like some sleazy stuff happened.
Oh yeah, promoter
Gabe.
Yeah. He's is it Gabe Reed? Was that his name?
Yes.
And Gabe Reed became this promoter. And I heard some stories about stuff he did in South America where some very famous musicians got caught in his web. And there were military guys saying, give us all your passports. Nobody's leaving until we find Gabe. And it was like, what is going on? And now Gabe is in prison for, crazy stuff. He's the guy in the movie that's got he's got blonde hair on one side, brunette on the other.
I remember him.
Yeah, that's Gabe.
My God.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at him, no one ever would have been able to guess that something was off with him at all, huh?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
When people run into you on the street or if they recognize you at a coffee shop, what is the first thing is there always like a common question? Like, is it always the same kind of questions? And are there any questions, and I'm so curious about the answer to this one, what is the dumbest question you get regularly as Riki Rachtman?
Okay, I didn't get this regularly, but this was a good one.
All right.
Does Glenn Danzig tour with his wolves?
Woo, I'm so glad it's not, hey man, would you be on our podcast?
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Usually it's always, and here's the other thing that I think that I learned in my older age is I used to get stopped constantly for like, dude, I grew up watching you. Let me tell you. And they started to tell these stories. And after a while, I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I stopped and I was like, wait a minute. Like, what if I was that guy going up to somebody and said something like that to them? And that guy was kind of like, I'd be like bummed out. Like, I didn't think about how important, because you got to remember, I had the Cathouse going. I had everything going. I didn't even watch Headbangers Balls on Saturday night. But I didn't realize that these people that live in areas where they don't get this music, how important Headbangers Ball was. The stupidest question that I still get asked is like, dude, why'd you cut your hair?
Right.
I still get asked that question.
Yeah.
I get asked the questions about Dave Mustaine a lot. For a couple of years, it was all about the reality shows I did, because I did Daisy of Love and all the Rock of Love reunions.
Oh,
and
that's
Charms
right.
Tour. So I got asked those questions a lot. But mostly it's just about growing up, and it's just like a lot of the same questions. A lot of people ask questions about Mustaine, and you know.
I like the people that were probably asking you, hey, man, why'd you cut your hair? All those dudes no longer have their hair.
Yeah.
And here Riki is still with that incredible head of hair.
I could grow my hair long, honestly, in like 3 months. Like it would be like that. I could grow my hair long.
Ricky's over here flexing to 2 bald dudes.
I love it.
That's all I got, guys. That's all I got. Hey, I did this. Yeah, my hair still grows. Oh.
Riki, what's your favorite thing about being able to do this? About going out and doing these one-man shows? What is it? What is the biggest payoff for you?
I'm going to tell you, because my show, even though I think parts of it are funny, there are parts of it that aren't funny. There's parts that are really, it's not just Headbangers Ball at Cathouse.
For sure.
But I think the time is because I did not know how to move on stage. I didn't know how to be a comic. I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. And Craig was just so kind and like kind of giving me suggestions and stuff. You know, hey, you got to go a little bit more overboard when you do this or that. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I'll be doing stuff on stage and I'll be moving like an actor or somebody that's like doing this thing. And I'll be like, where did this come from? And there's the one part in the show that I don't want to tell you, but there's one part in the show that
Craig
I tell the story.
Yeah. Craig will do it for you. Go ahead, Craig.
There's one part in the show that I tell this story and it pauses and there's dead silence. And before I give like it's not like a punchline, but before I give it, and there's dead silence. And when that happened, I was like, oh my God, I got him.
I love
Absolutely.
Everybody there is listening to what I'm saying. And I'm lucky in the way that I don't have to get a laugh all the time, because I'm not, if people laugh at some of my things, I'm very lucky. But when you're telling stories and people are actually engaged, and this is something that I just sat there and wrote and came up with those weird ideas. And when I'm on stage and people are listening to what I'm saying and seem to be into it, I got to tell you, I've done a lot of incredible things in my life, but there is nothing in my entire career that I've loved more than doing these shows. And there's also things that it's tough stressing out. Are people going to go to my show? Or
of course.
Because I don't have anybody else on the bill. It's only me. Mm-hmm. So, you know,
for now, Riki, for now,
what?
Just you on the bill for now. We need to get you, Craig, out and do some shows. That would be incredible.
In fact, there's
couple because I could do a much shorter set.
Oh man, when I remember like watching your set and going, oh my God, like, you know, when you watch a good comic, it's like, dude, did you ever think about this? You ever think about that? You ever think about like, and then watching Riki tell his story, the stories I already knew. And I couldn't believe that there were stories from Riki's life in that genre of music that I was not aware of. It blew me away to hear some of those stories.
Yeah.
And he, dude, the guy, he's Roger Waters. He comes out, he does 90 minutes. Let's take a break. Everybody get some drinks.
Yeah. He had an intermission in his show.
He's an intermission.
Yeah. Let's all go to the lobby.
Here's another.
Let's all go to the lobby.
Yeah. Which, by the way, club owners love when you take intermissions. I noticed that when I do stand-up in Europe, that it's the shows in Europe tend to be with an intermission, because the club owners want everyone to stop for a minute and go back and buy some drinks. Whereas in America, it's like, just here's your opener, or here's your host, opener, and headliner.
Get in, get out, next show.
Yep, next show, exactly.
So, tonight's show that I did was about 2 hours and 40 minutes. Now, the problem is the smart guy would have made the show an hour and 20 minutes and saved the other half to go do a second show when I go back out.
Yeah.
But because I've already done like 40 shows telling all these stories, I don't want to save anything. I'm like, oh, because some of these people already saw this. So I just keep on doing the same really long show. And I do wish the show was a little bit shorter, but I don't know what to cut out.
Dude, you've got hours and hours and hours of material in you that you just haven't tapped into. I really believe that if you let people write down on a piece of paper, like anyone write down for a Q&A at the end of the show, but you got to write it down in advance, and you can just screen those questions and go through it, you will be inspired, just like I'm sure you are on the street randomly whenever you meet people that want to say hi to you and just tell you how much they love you. I'm sure that people ask you about things that you go, oh, fuck, you know what? That's actually a really funny story. Like
Mm-hmm.
that must happen to you on a semi-regular basis, right?
Yeah, but I don't remember a lot of stuff.
Sure.
But it really is. It's I mean, it's flattering that so many people remember Alice in Chains at the water park.
Oh,
You know, that so many people remember that episode. And that's really flattering. And again, it was a time that at the time I didn't really appreciate how great and awesome it was. And because I had the club, some of these people that I'm working with are people that have hung out at my club that just ended up being in the biggest bands in the world. And the one thing I wanted to say about my show is everybody had been saying my whole life, dude, write a book, write a book, write a book. And I didn't want to write a book because I was worried that the book that I wanted to write, nobody would like, because it would talk about, you know, the bad things that happened in my life, the getting arrested and losing everything and going bankrupt and trying to, you know, raise your way back up and the rags to riches to rags to riches. And I thought that nobody would want to read that book. So then I went up on stage and I started telling those stories. And, you know, the one thing is when people show up on my show, I guarantee it's not what you're going to expect.
for sure. It's wildly entertaining. It's very satisfying
Thank you.
because it's everything you want to hear Ricky talk about.
Mhm.
And it's a lot of things you had no idea about with Ricky that he talks about.
It's a wonderful opportunity too for kids coming up who are listening to those bands, Mötley Crüe, Poison, all those bands. If you want to hear those stories from the person that was in the middle of all that, go see this show, One Foot in the Gutter, because it was all around Ricky. He had a front row seat to all the craziness.
It's so crazy. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, Ricky, but for a guy as temperamental as Axl, for him to love Ricky so much that he puts him in the music videos, helps him get his gig at MTV for Headbangers Ball, flies with him. Like, you want me to come with? Like, it is crazy. Again, a very temperamental and seemingly very judgy Axl Rose in the 1980s just loved Ricky and loved being around him and just put him everywhere that Guns N' Roses was.
I haven't talked to the guy in over 20 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's hop on the motorcycle and go over there tomorrow.
But again, Duff and Slash, you know, and you know, and as he describes, Duff and Slash are completely different people, as is Axl. I don't know if he does this to me because I'm a comedian, but does Duff ever walk up to you and start a conversation, or at least you think it's a conversation and you realize it's a joke and he's just telling you a joke? He is the king of dad jokes. The absolute king. I remember one, I swear to God, this is a Duff McKagan joke. Guy walks into a bar and orders a drink from the bartender. There's nobody in the bar. And he sits down. And the guy goes, "I'll get your drink. I'll be right back." And he hears, "Man, you look good." And he looks around and he doesn't, "What the hell?" And then he hears, "And you smell good too. How about that? I like your outfit." He's looking around and he goes, "Excuse me, bartender." And the bartender comes back over and he goes, "Where am I hearing that noise from?" And the guy goes, "Peanuts." He goes, "What?" "The peanuts." And on the bar is a bowl of peanuts. "They're complimentary." I cannot believe that Duff McKagan told me that joke. And I still remember it to this day. Duff McKagan is loaded with these unbelievably just ridiculous dad jokes.
Yeah.
Is that a dad joke?
That's, I guess, like the corny. Yeah, I guess the corny aspect of it makes it a dad joke.
Yeah.
But has he dropped those on you? These jokes? No. Okay.
See, the thing is I live in North Carolina now, so I don't really run into any of these people like I used to. I just was looking. I'm like, what is in the background here? I got to make sure there's not some weird stuff in this room.
Well, Ricky, there's a question I've got to ask you, and this is a question I've always wanted to talk to you about. And there was never been an appropriate time for it. And you kind of skip over it at the beginning of the show. You are way ahead of the curve of everyone in that you got sober in 1988. Was that the year you got sober?
Yeah.
Where were you at in life where you knew I have to change? What was going on?
I've always suffered with depression. Still do. I've always had chemical imbalances, still do, but everything I did was to excess. And, you know, I did cocaine when I was 13, smoked weed when I was 4.
Whoa.
And I always tried to go one step further. And when the cocaine stopped working, Then all of a sudden it was crystal meth. And when you come off of crystal meth, it's not necessarily like, well, that was kind of like you're really depressed. And then when you're really depressed and you already suffer from depression, and there were suicide attempts, there was a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't really want to give him credit for this, but I'm going to. It was also the same time that Nikki started to get sober. So Nikki started talking about sobriety. I'm like, just the other night, I was almost dead, like literally almost dead. I'd been arrested for drunk driving a couple of times, and I just gave it a shot. And it wasn't easy. And, I've been sober, since 1988. Wow. And I think the thing that keeps me sober, because remember, I also went through some times when I was completely bankrupt. I had absolutely nothing after the Headbangers Ball. And I think the thing that really kept me sober was just the fear, because I felt that I'd been given these gifts. Like at this age, I'm still kind of doing some fun stuff, and I have a nice house, and I got a great wife, and I got all this stuff. And I feel that the second that I even take a sip or smoke or snort of anything, whatever it's God, higher power, whatever you believe, I believe whatever it is going to take it all away from me. So I'm scared to death to get loaded. And it was really tough in 80s, like in 88 and 89.
Oh my God, it was.
When everybody was high. And, I saw Tammy go through some really, really tough stuff. And that's the time that we weren't friends. And, and I'm not, which is very important, is I'm not a sober preacher. I don't think alcohol should be illegal. I'm the first one to buy a round of drinks for my friends. I like hanging out with my friends that are drinking, but I can't because I'm a drug addict and alcoholic. I don't like when people do cocaine, and I can pick it like that when somebody's doing coke. And I don't want to have anything to do with that stuff, because that stuff was bad. And meth was much worse. So
meth
I guess I was a trendsetter.
Yeah.
And at a time,
who had more time than me? I remember that Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols used to hang out with all of us back in the day at the Cathouse. And I remember that Steve Jones was one of the few sober people that I knew.
Wow.
And Steve Jones had all these years. And I was like, wow, Jonesy, you can do it. You can do it. And then I remember, like, at one point, he slipped after having a whole lot of years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then I was like, wow, it can happen to anybody. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to get loaded tomorrow. I'm not going to do it right now. But I don't know. And I've really lived like that every single day. And I believe that the reason that, right now things aren't going great for me, but I'm doing stuff that I love. And I believe that the second that I do any kind of alcohol or drugs, I'm going to lose it all. So it's fear that keeps me sober.
Yeah, because you're just like me. Like, I can't do two. I can do 2 bottles, but I'm not doing 2 drinks.
No.
Yeah, I still believe that the most likely way I would die in life is from a drug overdose. I just believe that's just hardwired in me. And people who have known me in the last 20 years since I've gotten sober are like, but you don't do drugs. And I'm like, it's just, I feel like I need to know that about myself to prevent myself from ever going back and doing that again. It's a gift to be scared of going back. And man, there are some times when I hear about someone I knew who was in recovery and they relapsed and within a couple months were dead. And I'm like, that's what I would do. That's exactly what I would do if I relapsed.
Riki was talking about being a depressed person too. That's what scares me, is going into a relapse, triggering that depression again, and really getting a case of the fuckets and really going for it. Because I can't imagine the guilt after that amount of time. That's what scares me about ever having a relapse for myself.
When you've got some time sober and you say, like, yeah, I've been sober 6 years, or I've been sober 10 years or 20 years, and then getting loaded and then trying to get sober again, you say, like, I've got 2 days. Well, like, fuck it, it's only 2 days. I might as well start over.
Absolutely.
Because 38 years, it's like, I don't want to lose that sober time. And like I said, I don't want to sound like a sober preacher, because I'm not a sober preacher. I just know that, there's many times that there's been people, not in bands and in bands, that I've always been there for. I went to UCLA for a little bit. I thought I was going to become a drug counselor. And I really thought that would be like something that I would be interested in doing. I'd rather go up and tell stories on stage. No.
Yeah.
And you can get your tickets to those stories at cathousehollywood.com.
Yeah.
So how do you today, as a guy who's very much in recovery and you got solid recovery under your belt, do you know when something is going on in your mind that's not a natural reaction? Do you know when the depression is coming? Can you feel it? And how do you combat that?
Depression is a weird thing for me. And I've always, they've always tried to put me on different meds. And, right now, the thing you have ADHD is like, hey, man, I got ADHD. It's the cool new thing. Well, when I was a little kid, I was diagnosed with it. But back then it was called hyperactivity.
Right.
People don't know, to have ADHD, you have to pretty much be diagnosed as a child. And I did. And I was supposed to be put on Ritalin and put on all these different things, tried to attempt suicide when I was 11 years old. I mean, all these things. And sometimes it's followed after something really, really good happens. And then all of a sudden I crash. I have these crazy mood swings. And then there's reasons that I'll be there and I'll feel like shit and I'll be in a bad mood. And I'll just keep on focusing on all the bad things. Like, what are you going to do when you're 68? Or what are you going to do with this? Or how come this bill isn't paid off? And it comes and you just have to learn, like, look, this too will pass. And it's tough. It's not easy. I mean, I am not happy that I have some serious mental issues, but I also believe that I would bet my bottom dollar that both you guys do too. And because of that, that also might be why we're very creative in certain ways. Like, exactly. I know normal people and I know people that are perfect and balanced and everything like that. And I don't want to be like them.
Agreed.
Yeah. And talking to you just now, you were talking about you have ADHD. You also have a show that runs 2 hours and 45 minutes tonight, you said. How much time did you spend at your desk in the hallway in school?
Oh, in school?
Yeah. I was always getting in trouble and getting my desk. I spent probably half of a couple of years.
Oh, on timeout?
Yeah, timeout. Yeah. My desk was in the hallway rather than in the classroom.
Hallway.
Yeah.
So in digging up stuff to talk about my youth as a kid, I found my old report cards. And it used to be kind of funny. Like, I knew I was a bad student.
Okay.
And I read the report cards and didn't realize how bad I was. Like, it was just like, fail, won't shut up, can't pay attention, forgets to bring his stuff in class, forgets to do this. And I didn't realize how bad I really was in school. I mean, just between me and I still don't really know my times tables, but that doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
And God, who the hell is going to use simple division? I don't know what that means, you know?
But you turned the ADHD, much like myself, into a superpower where you went and put yourself in the middle of all these people. You were doing club promotion, you're doing MTV, you're doing NASCAR, you're doing charity motorcycle rides. That, if you're able to harness that, it becomes an incredible superpower.
I'll tell you what I see, because I have ADHD, and what I see is what Riki is into, he can be incredibly focused on.
Same. Yeah.
And I'm the same way. Am I right in that assessment?
Yes, but I'm very, very hard on myself when things don't go right. I get frustrated. Like, I mean, since you guys are doing the same stuff on the road, I really appreciate when guys like you two give me compliments about my show, because it does mean so much to me. But I'm like, why am I just not touring all the time, selling 300 to 400 seats? Because sometimes I do, and sometimes I'll be in a venue that sits, that I'll sell like 80 tickets or 40 tickets, and I'll be like, why isn't? And the reason is, well, nobody knows about my show.
Right.
But then it's like, I want to do this, and I get very frustrated that people. Oh, guys, and I know this is something, I think I'm going off topic, but this is something that you can relate to. You'll just finish a show. Like, let's say I'm going to go play at the Castle Theater, and I'm going to go play a show there. And then I do this show. And then a week later, it's like, dude, why don't you come out and play the Castle Theater? It's like, every time I go to a town, they always say, like, dude, how come you don't come play West Dundee? I played there last month.
Yep.
Like, most of the places that people ask me to go play, I've already played. It's like, where the hell were you then?
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to put some shows together with the three of us. And
oh my God. It would be great, because I really do think the world of both you guys. You guys are I mean, I hate to say this, but you're both, the way I like to say it, you're both truly kind people. I really, really like both of you a lot. And I think that we can all bounce things off each other. And I think the idea of the three of us going out on the road would just be incredible.
I agreed. Chris has this job with this fucking band that's going on a massive world tour here. So we got to work around Chris's schedule. But
for now, I do.
Yeah.
Much like drug addiction, I don't know if that's going away tomorrow. I have no idea.
But that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Then the people that are complacent, they're like, hey, I'm going to have this stuff forever. Well, you probably won't. I know I've lost it, and that's why you hold on to that. And when you take a moment and sit back, I was on stage tonight and people were laughing or people were listening and people intrigued. And I walked by. And the biggest thing that you have to do, and I hope you do this, Chris, and I know you're a pretty cerebral guy, is sometimes what we don't do is we accomplish something pretty major and we step back and we look, oh my God, look what I did. Like to be in front of as many people on stage that Chris is, and to stand back there and look at all these people. Look at these people wearing Kael Army t-shirts, you know? And when you take all that in, you're like, that's really rad. And it's hard sometimes to step back because we always want more. We want more. Yeah. All I want to do is play that show. I just want to play that show. Okay, I'm played there. Well, that's not really what I want. I want to play this place. And then you keep on wanting more. And that's also an addictive personality, you know?
Oh, for sure.
I always want this car. And then when I got that car, I want a different car.
For me, it was destination addiction. Regardless of where I was at, I needed to be over there. No matter how good things were right here, I should be over there. I need to be doing this. Much like you, right. I'm going out playing, 25, 30,000 people with Five Finger Death Punch. And then when me and Craig, if we sell out a room that's 200, I'm like, this is just 200 people. But then I'm like, hold on, this is something completely different that we're building from the ground up.
Yeah.
That I've been playing music since I was 15. Been doing comedy for roughly 3 years, really playing shows for but the last year or so. It takes some time.
Yeah.
And the fact that I've got the big gig that makes that awareness with so many people and has really just given me a nice, a 5-year bump easily in my stand-up trajectory, much like yourself. You got all those people that watch you on Headbangers Ball, NASCAR TV.
Well, we all have.
Yeah.
Whether it was Howard Stern with Craig, whether it's Five Finger Death Punch, or whether it's Headbangers Ball. But it's still and I've heard I've heard Craig say this before. And the one thing, it's really nice that I'm, I sold out Sydney, Australia, it's really nice that I'm doing this thing. But the truth is, I probably need to play these shows that there aren't a lot of people at, and I need to grind. I need to be out there playing. I can't expect to always do, I don't know if I talked to you. There was a time I played at a place that was called the Concourse in Knoxville.
Okay.
Do you guys know the venue?
No, never been to Knoxville.
Massive. Okay. It was massive. And that was the least amount of tickets that I ever sold.
Oh, so you called me about this. I remember you telling me about this.
Yes. And I called you and I called Tammy.
Yeah.
And you both said the same thing. Get out there and do a fucking good show.
Yep.
And my agent told me to cancel the show. And instead, I walked out there because the place fit 1,000 and there was 70 people there. There's nothing you can fake. You can't say, everybody step wider, And so I walked out there. I said, okay, let's address the elephant in the room. It's dead here right now, but you guys are here. So I'm going to make sure that you have a good time. And then after the show, I'm going to come out and meet all of you.
Oh,
now, this was a venue that fit 1,000 people, and about 70 people were there. And all the reviews on social media from these people were really good. And nobody ever wrote how there was nobody there.
Right.
So the things that, and you definitely have taught me this before, is look, if there's 3 people in the room, damn it, make sure those 3 people have a really, really good time.
Absolutely.
Because there's rock stars that have gone out there at shows and they wanted 1,000 people there, and there's 600. Why the fuck is no more people here? It's what about those people that did show up?
Yeah.
What about those 40 people? Forget about the 900 that didn't buy a ticket. What about those 40 people that did buy a ticket?
Yeah, because for me,
rip them off because of the people that didn't show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's if I'm in a room and I'm coming to see Riki Rachtman and there's a small crowd there, my feeling is oh man, I hope I can get to meet him, since there's you know what I mean? It's this is cool. It's a handful of us here. Same way I feel when I'm in a small club and Dave Chappelle shows up. It's oh man, there's only a handful of people here. We're watching this show. it makes it special. And I learned a lesson early on. And I think I told you this, Riki, that there was an open mic that I went to way back in the 90s when I first started doing stand-up, where there was 2 audience members at the open mic. And the manager told all the comedians, there's like 30 comedians in the back of the room waiting to go up and do the open mic. And the manager goes, hey, we only got 2 people. I think we're going to cancel it. And the comedian's like, oh, come on, man. We can. And he was like, but there's only 2 people. And people, come on. I think there was one comedian saying, I know 3 people that are coming. We're going to double this audience. And everyone was like, come on, we can do this. Mm-hmm. And the manager said, well, if you guys want to do it, we'll do it. And the host for the night walked on stage and said, all right, how you guys doing? First of all, sir, because it was a couple, I want you to stand up. Stand up. I want you to move over to this side of the room. Grab this table over here. All right. And ma'am, yeah, I need you to stand up. I want you to go to that side of the room and grab it, get that table. And he made them sit at opposite ends of the room so that there was, first of all, the discomfort of we're not going to be together in silence. So this discomfort of nervous energy. And also they were laughing in stereo now, like on either side of the room. And I was like, what a magical thing to witness, that the show must go on.
Yeah. And how magical is that? Like you were talking about seeing Guns N' Roses. They're in Tucson, couple hundred people. How special is that, doing these incredibly intimate shows? And Absolutely. Those people, they love it. I mean, they don't get a chance to see small shows like that these days, you know?
You can tell that Riki loves doing this. He loves being able to get up. And
he got bit just like me.
Yeah, you know what feels good is being able, like he said, that moment where he's saying something very serious and you can hear a pin drop and he's like, I got him.
Yeah, when he was saying that, I was like, oh, I know that too. I know that one too.
Yeah. That's such a great
You know what I never talk about, and I know this is totally changing the subject, and I don't know if you were in LA at this part, but during the same Cathouse era, we used to all go and spend Monday nights at the Comedy Store.
Oh, shit, that was Kinnison.
Yeah. I mean, dude, we saw, and that's just what we did. We'd go to the Comedy Store Monday nights, and I know this is totally changing the subject, but I never got to share about what a magical time, because it was like Kinnison and Dice and Carl Lebon, and it was just constantly all these guys that were just on the verge of making it big, and sometimes you'd get somebody, because Kinnison wasn't big then.
Yeah.
He would just come out and freaking destroy. And what he was doing was very unlike everybody else.
Oh, man. You know? I got a perfect example of that, which is someone from his early days said they saw him on stage at an open mic, and Sam goes, so I'm dating this girl, and she's a little heavy, you know, she's got a little bit of a weight problem. And a guy in the crowd goes, traditional comedy, how fat is she? And Sam goes, Jesus, she has a gland problem, you insensitive fuck. Oh! And he just started screaming. What the fuck?
I love it.
So yeah, when you say that he was unlike anything else before him, and you could see how that energy appealed to Riki and everyone in that scene.
Yeah.
Like they were, it was just so, that was such a symbiotic thing that was of like all those energies coming together, that comedy, that music, you know?
Absolutely.
You know what you want, which I think is missing in a lot of entertainment? What we all want is we want spontaneity. We want something that we don't exactly, I just love tail whaling back
there. Spontaneity.
Just like we all want to not know what's next. We all want to feel like this could go either way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to talk about the stupid thing that I do to open my show every time, because Chris helped me in the Stupidity One show. But it's the most ridiculous thing in the world. But I guarantee there's no chance anybody would think this is the way that I would open my show.
Oh, yeah. The whole show is amazing. Go see Riki. He is on the road. We're going to get these dates. You will have heard these dates at the beginning of the episode. And we're going to be, you know what? I got some of the dates right here. I'm going to read them right now. I'm going to put my Riki.
Oh, tell me if you've ever been to any of these venues.
Okay. So he just performed tonight in North Carolina, but you will see him in Harrison, Ohio at the Blue Note. I wonder if is that the Blue Note chain that...
Yes, because this is the Blue Note Harrison.
Okay.
They have some Blue Notes.
And then West Dundee, Illinois at Rock House. March 4th in Milwaukee at, here's a great name, Shank Hall. Shank Hall
Yes.
in Milwaukee.
Shank Hall in Milwaukee.
Shank Hall in Milwaukee. Great town, by the way. Great rock town. And I believe it's pronounced Mahomet, Illinois. Mahomet, Illinois, at Yellow and Company. Tickets at cathousehollywood.com for all the info. And
my 50th show is in Cleveland. That's a big deal, 50 shows.
absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Where in Cleveland is your 50th show at?
So it's at the Winchester Music Tavern.
Okay.
It's the second time I played there. And the first time I played there was my second show ever.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know what it would be like playing out of town. And it sold out.
Oh, I
And
love
I
that.
remember like, holy shit. Like, and then, you think, I'm going to sell out every show.
Right.
But so I'm going back there to play my 50th show. And
I love it.
for me, it's like, wow, like I'm actually, the only thing missing is the money. And I'm actually getting out there and doing this. And for me, it's like, hey, Leah, what should I put on my rider?
Yeah.
People are so sick to death of hearing me say, I'm going on tour. There's not a word that I use more than the word tour right now.
I love
Because
it.
my whole life, I've been hearing all my friends talk about like, yeah, remember when we played this place, we played this place, we played this place. And then I used to be so jealous. I'm like, God, it sounds so cool to get out on the road. And now that I get to do it, and the whole thing is like, I'm doing it low budget. I've got a truck and we're driving. I just wanted to tell you something, and you can help me since you know this guy very well. Tammy says what he does is harder than what I do.
How so? In what aspect does he say what he does is harder than what you do?
Singing in faster, all you have to do is go up there and talk.
Yeah. Have him do it without the band behind him.
Yeah, that
right.
Tammy.
Playing the
I've
same
done-
songs every night.
Yeah. I've done both, Tammy.
Right,
And I can
exactly.
say, as a professional in both now, because I have gotten paid to do comedy, comedy is much harder than music for sure. Especially when you've been doing it for how many years now?
Yeah.
Tammy's been doing it since the 80s in Faster Pussycat.
Yeah.
It's the back of his hand now.
Yeah.
Try get out there, tell those stories like you're doing with no lights, no music. People don't know any of the words getting ready to come out of your mouth. They can't mouth the jokes along with you.
Nobody else on stage with you.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
If you're
just
having
you.
a bad night, it's you.
It's all you.
You don't have four other people to lean up against and fart your way through the set.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep. Does that answer your question there, Ricky?
Perfect.
By the way, as a side note, I did want to tell you that I love that when Tammy went through what he went through last year, Ricky put out a video.
Ooh.
And the friendship,
Didn't want to do that.
the friendship that came through in that, you could see that Ricky was distressed for his friend. There was a lot of love in that.
Absolutely.
And he wanted to clarify things that could not be clarified at the time because Tammy was going through it.
Mhm.
And so Ricky wanted the world to know, hey man, just, it was so much raw emotion in that video. And I loved watching it because it's like, man, this guy really cares about his buddy.
And I didn't want to do it because, I don't ever do things just to get views or do things on the internet. But I was just hearing, we live in this world that people just love saying negativity when they don't know anything. And so much stuff was out there. And I was like, oh my God, this guy is still sequestered on a boat. And people are saying such things. And I said things that, I don't really want to go into the whole thing, but I got backlash from some people. But it's something that I had to do. We live in a really messed up world right now. And I really learned this recently when I hope I can go on a tangent about something.
Please go ahead.
So we're all on social media and we know that there is an importance of social media. So I don't know if I talked to you guys about this story or not, but I did a post on Instagram about people waiting outside of Trader Joe's for tote bags.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Okay. It got 4.7 million views.
Whoa.
Everybody turned it into a racial issue.
Whoa.
Into lazy Californians, and it became all political. Okay?
Whoa.
And it was hatred. And then when I said, hey, and I just donated a check for $22,000 for the 988 suicide, nothing, crickets. And then I happened to say something about the Super Bowl entertainment, 600,000 right away. And here's the thing. it doesn't, the algorithm only puts out to people negativity.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter how much nice stuff you have. They're only going to help put it out there when it's negativity. They're only going to want to put anger stuff out there. So if I went on social media and said something political, it would just get hit with so many people, and especially if people are fighting. So you keep on getting fed this stuff with this anger and fighting and anger and fighting, and people are combating and going back and forth. And that's the stuff that keeps on getting circulated.
Absolutely.
The nice stuff doesn't get circulated. So because of social media, we're programmed to be mean and argue and fight.
Right.
I can post absolutely nothing. And so I've been called a fascist. I've been called, a libtard, left, right. I love that I was called an anti-Semite considering I'm Jewish.
Yep.
I mean, true. I mean, people will find, like, why do they, like, look, if there's something that you don't like, just don't say anything. Why don't you comment to somebody and tell somebody something you like? I got news for you. We all want to live forever, but if you just do nothing but talk shit about people, nobody's going to remember or care about you. But if you do something, and I hate to sound like such a freaking lolly guy right now, but if you go out of your way to say something really nice to somebody, they're going to remember that. And other people remember that. And, it's something that took me a long time to learn. Like it's always, Chris has always posted positivity. And you're not going to get the hits from posting the positive
So with
stuff.
that in mind right now, I want to take a moment to say, fuck you, Ricky. Fuck you, Craig. And fuck you too, Alex. I'm out of here. Fuck this. Fuck this. Clip it. Fucking clip it.
There you go.
That's going to be the biggest viewed podcast just because of that.
Chris went into a rage. So it's Weirdo from now on.
Good. Now let's talk shit about Chris Kael.
Welcome to Riki and Weirdo. Riki and Weirdo. Hey.
I still want my checks.
Riki and Weirdo show. Right now, coming to town. Riki is going to be on the road. Go to cathousehollywood.com for all of his dates that are coming up. I strongly recommend you go see Riki if you're watching this show, you're familiar with Riki. The show is unbelievably entertaining. And I have to say, I was shocked to hear things. I knew I was going to hear some stories and maybe digging in a little bit into some of the stories I already knew, but the stuff that I didn't know is what blew my mind. So,
hey, if we ever go out on tour,
which we will.
I think the three of us going out and doing shows together, I would think that's probably fairly probable.
Yeah.
But if it's a Beardo and a Weirdo, what else? What do I get to be?
Beardo and Weirdo and Riki? How would we name that?
No.
Because I just came back in just to see, did we get any likes from that?
I think we're going to. We're going to. Are you going to pee or? Oh, all right.
Does it still burn?
Yeah. He said, does it still burn?
I didn't go to the Cathouse, so no.
No. No, we will definitely go and do some shows. In fact, there's a couple of cities that I know would be really perfect for us and something I wanted to talk about as soon as we wrap this up. But please go see Riki on the road in all those cities. And cathousehollywood.com is where you get the dates. Any other stuff you want to promote, Riki? Any other websites or?
Buy my shirts.
Buy the shirts. That was actually one of the coolest moments when Riki, at some event that we were at, he was like, hey, do you want a Cathouse shirt? And I just tried to be as low key as possible. Like I wasn't a Coke fiend for those shirts. Like, yeah, I might get one or two if I could.
Do you still sell the Cathouse Hollywood coffee mugs?
No, every time I make those, that stuff sells out. I go to St. Paul, sign the mugs, and they're gone instantly. But you know what? It's possible if I have one or two, I'll find a way to get it to you guys.
Oh, no, you sent me one forever ago, and I drink my coffee out of that every other day probably.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's my favorite coffee cup.
Well, good. Then I don't have to send one to you.
Exactly. Yeah. Put it on eBay.
All right. Well, there's Cathouse t-shirts, but no Cathouse mugs. But you can see Riki and get your own Cathouse shirt. cathousehollywood.com. Go see Riki, and soon you'll be hearing about some dates for the three of us. If you have a suggestion of which city you want us to come to, leave it in the comments.
That's right, kids. Craig and Riki Rachtman versus Chris Kael live in the ring on the road coming up to a city near you.
I get it now. This is how we're going to sell tickets. Fuck you, Chris. All right. FuckYouChris.com for tickets for the 3-way fight, and we'll see you on the road. And by the way, if you want to see Chris on the road, chriskael.com. Shows we're doing together, getgas.com. Getgas with 2 S's.com. I'm doing a big show with Nancy Wilson, Mike Inez, the guys from Shinedown. We're doing a big benefit show at the Moore Theater on Saturday, April 4th. And more dates are out there at getgas.com.
And make sure to like, comment, subscribe. And if you don't, fuck you too.
Yeah. That's how we go viral. Fuck you.
Not like Cathouse Hollywood viral.
Yeah.
But
that's a virus.
Yeah.